Welcome to the 5-minute installation guide for the Ulysses Micro and Mini. My name is Kevon. I'm a customer support engineer here at OmniSense Systems. And with this video, we're going to show you how to effectively plan and install our camera systems. You see, we recognize that our cameras install differently from the legacy systems you may be accustomed to. And hopefully, after this video, you realize that our systems are actually easier to install. So with that said, let's get started on a quick introduction to our camera system. First thing we should know is this is a full-fledged IP-based camera, as in it works off of Ethernet connection. It is powered over Ethernet as well, so that means a single cable will be able to handle all our video, our controls, as well as power. Which really means all you need is one cable running to the camera instead of multiple. And this is huge because it makes installation really simple. All our devices will be interfaced through a junction box. And I'll explain the various ports later. Our Ulysses is designed to work with almost all current generation multifunction displays. And in no particular order, you have Lowrance, Simrad, B&G, Garmin, Furuno, Raymarine. Whichever brand you prefer, we got you covered. Our interface utilizes primarily touchscreen controls, although we have a joystick option available, and you could use that in conjunction with a touchscreen display or a display without touchscreen. So with that, let's go on to an overview on how the setup will look in the case of the Ulysses Micro. Okay, so this is what the Ulysses Micro setup will look like. And central to all our connections is the junction box. And looking at the junction box, our first connection point is the power input. And here you'll be able to provide between 9 and 32 volts to the junction box. So it doesn't matter if your vessel is a 12 or 24 volt system, our junction box will be able to handle that. Next, we have an analog video output. Here you can connect to an analog monitor or a legacy MFD with analog video input. Next to it, we have 3 PoE Ethernet ports. Now remember that single cable that's running to the camera here. You will connect the other end to this port. Next to it, you can connect an optional joystick. And the third port you can use to connect to an MFD or an Ethernet switch on the vessel. And last but not least, we have our NMEA interface where you can introduce NMEA devices or functionality. So here's what our dual payload Ulysses Mini setup will look like. And as you can see, there's not much difference from the Ulysses Micro setup, but we have now introduced 2 new interfaces into this junction box. You can see the same single cable is running to the junction box from the camera, but now we've introduced the HDMI port and the USB touch port. And this you could use to either go to a touchscreen display or an MFD that supports HDMI and touchscreen. Now, let's talk about pre-installation planning. Well, before you go out to any installation site, it is always a good idea to do some pre-planning. You first want to know how you're going to configure to the MFD. Is it going to be Ethernet? Are we going to use HDMI with USB touch? Or are we going to use analog video? Or is it going to be a combination of all of these? These are the things you're going to want to know before you get on site. Our standard resolution cameras, such as the Micros and the Micro S, you can have a direct Ethernet connection to most of the modern MFDs on the market today. Now, there are some exceptions, so feel free to visit our website, or you can contact us for verification on that. As far as our higher resolution cameras, such as the Ulysses Mini, we recommend that you use the HDMI and the USB touch option. And this is because most of the MFDs on the market today just cannot process the resolution that those cameras are putting out. With the exception of the Simrad's Evo 3S or its equivalent and the higher end Raymarine displays. So if you're going to do a direct Ethernet connection, our cameras will work with Garmin right out the box. So if you're going to connect to other displays, we suggest you do some pre-configuration of the camera settings before you go onto site. And that process we made very simple for you, and I'll show you how to do it right now. First, click anywhere on the screen to bring up the quick view menu. Now choose the menu icon, then the wrench symbol. Here you will see the device access tab. Now you would see a list of pre-configured MFD manufacturers. You can now choose the manufacturer you want to connect with. Once chosen, click Save and Reboot. You'll see a window pop up with the new camera IP address. Make sure and record that for future references. Then hit OK. Just that simple. Hopefully you now have a better understanding on how our camera system works. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us on our website, or you can give us a call. We're here to help. I want to thank you for watching this video.